There's 27.5 hours for us to do the work we have to do.
Hi, I'm Dana. I'm with 9 to 5. We're out here reminding you about the election to receive your ballot in the mail.
Hi there. You voted yet? Voted yet, sir? Have you voted yet? What county do you live in?
Overall, there were 1.8 million attempted contacts. So between mail and phones and knocking on doors, we attempted to communicate with people 1.8 million times. That's to a universe of over 300,000 people. Once all is said and done, be about 400,000 people.
The Colorado Civic Engagement Roundtable helps connect about 50 organizations so that we are all moving in the same direction.
The positive impact that Roundtable has had on 9 to 5 is coordinating the efforts of all of our progressive organizations and making our voice stronger and knowing that we're very united as a broader Denver area. There's many nonprofits out there in the world, and they're, one's working on immigration issues, one's working on women's issues, and one's working on healthcare, and they almost divide and silo themselves out. But I think through the efforts of the Roundtable, what they're doing is combining all those issues under one umbrella and connecting them together and showing that healthcare is related to immigration issues and it is related to racism, and that we need to be conquering and fighting for a better world together versus against each other.
I live here for a year and I'm from Chihuahua. Yo quiero votar. Me faltan 4 años para agarrar mi ciudadanía, entonces quiero hacerlo porque puedo hacer un cambio, puedo elegir a quién quiero que me represente.
Our mission is a more fair, equitable, and just Colorado that involves being smart and aggressive about engaging those that have been left out of the political process for years. During the elections especially, we really want to target those people that haven't voted as much, that for one reason or another might have been disenfranchised, that in traditional or in past elections haven't gotten as much communication or as much emphasis from some of the candidates or some of the issue campaigns. We really want to talk to those individuals and make voters of them and find ways for them to plug into kind of the civic landscape.
One of the unique aspects of the Civic Engagement Roundtable is that we try to work one-on-one with different organizations to help them achieve the goals that they want to. And we bring a lot of different resources, whether it's legal expertise that they can use or it's data technological resources that on the data part will help them effectively target a universe of people to talk to, as well as track their progress so that they can actually report out about all of the good work that they're doing and be accountable for goals and metrics.
Well, coordinating across all of the progressive C3 nonprofits is so critical to make sure that we're maximizing the impact of our civic engagement outreach. The coordination that the Roundtable provides, the strategic guidance, the data coordination, and simply also a clearinghouse for groups to connect and talk about best practices, talk about what's working in our programs and what's not working is just invaluable for the community. Whether that's Latino outreach, LGBT outreach, environmental advocacy, women's health, working families, all of the issues that we care about, we all have to work together to move our priorities forward. And that means working in close coordination, and we couldn't do it without the C3 Roundtable.
We really fill a gap where people aren't really willing to spend the time that's necessary to help people who are underrepresented. And it's not just a quick investment and you get a turnaround. It's a long-term investment, but we're really seeing that it pays off. With all the organizations that are part of the Roundtable, definitely a lot of outreach through the Roundtable.
Campaign for a Strong Colorado has been a lead organization on the Colorado Progressive Narrative Project. We've been able to make sure that the information that came through that polling that was very intense and also very targeted to a certain type of person that we want to include in our advocacy and making sure that we're messaging in the right way. And so we're leading this project to make sure that all the Roundtable groups have the information they need that relates to this polling, and it is really to build an effective message and to build a movement towards a more progressive Colorado.
I see this work heading in a direction where it's going to be much more sophisticated, much more data-driven, hopefully much more impact-driven as well. And I think we've seen that this election cycle, and we're more and more going to see that in the future. Making sure that we measure our work based on not activities, not the work that we put into it, but what is the outcome? What is the impact that we're actually having? Not just how many doors did we knock on, but how many people voted because of that activity. So I see the work going down a path of being a lot more sophisticated and intentional about making sure that we're not just doing what we did the last cycle because it worked, but every single election we're rethinking it and doing things in a little bit of a different way to make it more and more impact-driven and effective.
Once the election results come in, we're going to see that we succeeded, that we did a lot of work, that it had an impact on those communities. I think we're also going to see that there's still a lot of work to do. So we need to keep working at it, to get to equity, to get where the number of rising American electorate voters is equal to the number of rising American electorate community members, is going to take this constant effort for a lot of years to come. That's not going to happen in one election. But again, the commitment that our organizations are using, the willingness to work in that collaborative space and to work with some of these new tools and research, I think gets us there in the long term. So it's tough in an election cycle. We measure it on wins or losses one night is how most people look at elections. I think we get to look at it, and I would really push people to look at it in the incremental successes we see each year and what that's going to mean for elections, not just the next election, but for the next 10 years, for the next 20 years, and that we need to continue this effort to make that happen.